about time we had to talk about gas prices and get the facts about why they're so high. And to illustrate that, literally, we'll use Scribblevision 2D. Let's start out by talking about oil. Oil is used for all kinds of stuff. You probably know it best as gasoline and the high prices you pay to pour it into your car and then burn it. But also, it's used to generate electricity in some places, and those byproducts are used to make all kinds of stuff, including those goddamn single-use plastic cups that McDonald's is using for their cups. 80% of the plastic made was not recycled, but I digress. Oil has a lot of uses. So who uses oil? Well, people here, and of course people here. I mean, the whole world uses oil. Demand keeps increasing as the world population grows, and the pressure is really on in places like China and India. What about the United States? We have about 330 million people here, and with the world population closing in on 8 billion, we account for about 4% of that population. The U.S. consumes 20% of the world's oil annually and produces just about as much. So if we make as much as we use, why is gas so expensive? Let's go back to grade school. Who knows what supply and demand is? Of course, it's the simple dynamic that influences the price of stuff. When there isn't enough stuff and there's high demand, prices go up. When there isn't enough demand and there's plenty of stuff, the prices go down. They literally teach this in 6th grade. We're even seeing this in the labor market. Unemployment is low and it's hard to find workers for many jobs. To compensate for that, employers have to offer higher wages. And the biggest example is where a shortage of car components and lack of used car inventory are driving up car prices. And making it worse, loan interest rates are still relatively low, and people have more cash saved than in any recent time, so demand is crushing. That leads to the next problem of inflation. When people have money and there is higher demand for everything but less supply, the price of everything goes up. People just spent the better part of 2 years in the pandemic not spending money or doing stuff, creating a perfect storm of inflation. Back to the gasoline, why is it so expensive if we produce as much as we use? Well, because oil is a global commodity. It's produced regionally, but it's used everywhere. Fluctuations in production are smoothed out when one supplier compensates for the shortcomings of another. The cost, therefore, is driven by the aggregate global demand. If a U.S. oil producer can't sell its gas domestically, it will absolutely sell it elsewhere. That's why there's no such thing as, quote, energy independence when it comes to oil. It's also why gas prices go up when a refinery stops operating or a nation is banned from exporting because it's invaded another country. What can a U.S. president do about all of this? Well, pretty much nothing, because oil is a global commodity. You can't stop the rest of the world from using oil to fix the supply and demand problem. Yeah, but what about all that oil in Alaska? The U.S. Geological Survey estimates that there could be between 5.7 and 16 billion barrels of oil in the Arctic National Wildlife Refuge. The U.S. uses more than 7 billion barrels per year, so assuming that you could get all of that oil out of the ground instantaneously today, that supply would last about a year or two. But you can't get it all out of the ground instantaneously because we're not even sure where it is. In fact, even if you know where it is, it takes at least 5 years from discovery to actually start producing and 17 years to reach peak production. So, if you haven't heard, burning this stuff also hasn't been great for the world's climate. Joe Biden entered a world of stupid when he implied that his actions had something to do with the short drop in gas prices in late 2021. But not only can he not claim credit, he can't be blamed either. There are no levers to quickly change supply and demand. There is a solution, by the way. It's called an electric vehicle. They're clean, they're fun to drive, and you never have to go to a gas station. About 2/3 of American households have a garage or a carport where they can charge, and public charging, as well as apartment and workplace charging, is becoming more common. Even for a coal-fired electrical plant, the carbon output per mile is far lower with an EV. Rising gas prices suck, but the math and reasons for it are not complicated. It shouldn't be political. Please like and subscribe and all of that nonsense.